The best part of a joke, Michael, is being able to explain the joke.
I've never seen Chappelle or Rock or Seinfeld explain a joke. It's
That's
kind of just
because
do it.
look, we artists are not all the same.
Copy. Welcome to episode 2. Today we're going to be talking about black, big tech and in the black media space, right? Let's, we'll be talking about big tech and how we're going to be We're fighting to get, our data back. We're fighting for our voice online. We're fighting to reclaim our timelines. And so, is there a connection there between that and what we're seeing happening with DEI, right? Like why is this happening? Clearly we know with the new administration and all that, priorities have changed, but what is the implication for, black folks online for all these so-called rollbacks to be happening?
Yeah, absolutely. And I think, there's a disinfo strategy at play here, right? We saw it with woke, we saw it with CRT, we're seeing it with DEI. What's that strategy? It's often called, the pink elephant problem, right? Quick question, don't think about a pink elephant.
I'm thinking about it right now, I can't hold it.
Absolutely, right? What do I mean by this? It means it's actually really hard to convince people to forget the first thing they hear about something. Yeah. And for a lot of these terms, a lot of folks didn't really know what they meant or hadn't been exposed to them, right? And the very first time they were told that
they're negative.
Not just that they're negative, there's these CRT is destroying the country, right? That doesn't make any type of sense, right? But that's the first thing people heard about. Right. These are things that are massively impacting the whatever your version of America is. Completely and totally false, right? But when you set that definition for folks, it becomes very, very hard to push back against that, right? And a lot of times people are like, well, they're telling me that this means that diversity is a core tenet of our society. Right. And they're telling me it's destroying the country, right? So maybe the answer is somewhere in between. That's not true, right? If you have truth on one side and a lie on the other, the halfway point is by definition not true, right? And that is what is so often happening with. I don't know. I don't want to drop too many gems here, but the halfway point between a truth and a lie is still not true. Not true, right? And that's so often where we get in these conversations on what's at the middle. Are both sides this false both sidesism, if you will, right? That's what's happening with DEI. What they've done, they are ignore that term for a second, right? They are erasing Black history, right? They are massively cutting funding to Black institutions, to Black programs, to programs that are benefiting other people, but they're only cutting the funding to us. This is an anti-Black campaign that they have reframed, that they've hidden behind this term that they've redefined, right? This term of DEI. And so people say, I went to a class that was BS, and so I think everything under this. And they will take that one frame and have it be the explanation for all of the actual anti-Black, massive, harmful decisions that they are having. And so it's fundamentally a mis and disinformation strategy that I think is unfortunately working. We don't have people that have the courage to speak up and say, this is what they're doing. And at the end of the day, if we as Americans cannot stand
Yeah.
and unite behind the idea of equity,
Yeah.
bruh,
Yeah.
equity.
Yeah.
We're not out. That is not a.
Yeah.
That is the opposite of a revolutionary term. We're talking about equity,
Yeah.
and we got all these people
Yeah.
that can't even stand up for
Yeah.
equity
Yeah.
because somebody else is redefining it
Right.
as a BS corporate class.
Yeah.
Like, it's embarrassing.
Yeah. Do you feel though as though I feel like the pendulum swings, right? I mean, I think there's at one point there was a lot of push for DEI, which we need, right? And there's a lot of push for let's be super. That's where I'm looking for proactive, I guess, on moderating conversations online to the point where a lot of people felt stifled. Now the pendulum, I feel like it's swinging back too far. But do you feel like is there a middle ground where we went too far with the moderation online? Because there's a lot of people, who feel like, well, everything I say, I get blocked. Everything if I put this up, I get blocked. I get shadow banned or whatever. So is there going, did we go too far in one direction, which made now us go too far in the other direction?
So instead of, I'm not going to take the bait of this question. Right, because what you're essentially doing, and I know you, Michael. What you're essentially doing is you took that DEI tag and applied it to content moderation as if they're the same thing.
Right. No.
And they're not. But I see what you're doing, and I appreciate the question. Right. There have been massive changes in content moderation policies. Yeah. That is 100% the case. Right. And we've seen a lot of people be really mad. Mm-hmm. Let's look at the data. Yeah. What does the data say? So, there was this large pendulum swing. What do we really mean? We are talking about the murder of George Floyd in 2020, right? And what happened after that? Well, what happened directly after that? Posts, major platforms, the Facebooks, the Instagrams, what have you, they removed Black Lives Matter posts 18 times more frequently than hate speech posts directly after that, George. Yeah. Like, let's talk about posts that simply said Black Lives Matter were found to be in violation of their new content moderation policy and taken down at 18 times the rate of actual hate. Right. Right. So who were those content moderation policies affecting and hurting the most? Yeah. Right now, we see that even today, posts about Black lives, posts about calling out racism are still taken down 50% more time. 50% more of the time at 50% more higher of a rate. And so the folks who are saying, but we're allowing the worst of the worst to be in the feeds, not just of us, but in our kids' feeds, right? Who have not even really had those conversations about what race is, what race is not. And at the same time, we are shadow banning Black creators. We are not allowing them to be monetized as much. We are taking down content from by pro-Black accounts, 50% more. And this was happening before the election. So we are allowing conversations to be framed in an anti-Black way entirely too often. And we're allowing these mis and disinformation strategies to be the underpinning to reverse roll back progress.
It may seem like a stupid question or an easy question, but I think it actually makes sense. How does this happen? How does this happen, right? I mean, is it the algorithm? Is it because, I know like for Facebook, I think we were talking about this last week, but we have, people who would just go on like a black Facebook page like Onyx Impact. And we were talking about how there's like 40,000 views and stuff on some of these posts on Onyx Impact. but there's like, maybe not as many likes, right? And we're like, well, are people not in our spaces sharing this? And are people flagging this stuff and saying it's like, how does that stuff get suppressed in the algorithm? Is it just because there's not enough people checking for it? Is it because there's too many people flagging it who, would be, racist online or whatever? Or the bots are employed to suppress? Like, how does that happen?
100%. That's a great question. How does this happen? I think it starts with, I'm a Black researcher, right? We are in Black online spaces all the time, dealing with all types of data, all types of models, all types of algorithms, right? And I feel like it's a really easy first question, to ask, like, oh, is your algorithm racist? Like, it shouldn't. It should not be the 10,000th question asked, as it so often is. But what ends up happening with a lot of these algorithms is that they realize way too late that I think our algorithm might be racist. Like, I feel like it's flagging a lot of Black people, right? And so what do? They put up these guardrails to try to prevent those types of that type of racism from, and because of how it's built, they'll be like, it's a lot of white folks making guardrails for Black folks, and they're like, well, if they say things bad about the word Black, then we should suppress it. But if you're saying something along the lines of like Black Lives Matter because they are killing our people at a higher rate, the algorithm that might look like, oh, that's negative and it's Black, let's suppress it.
Yeah.
That's what happens when you've got white folks in these spaces trying to moderate content, right? And then, they'll be completely flummoxed by something like the N-word, right? And so will not know what to do with it,
right?
And that's how they allow so much actual hate speech, by these far right actors into these.
What can we do? Or better yet, how? How do we get, caught in this web, right? Like, how do we as Black people, how do we allow, like, why are we more susceptible to mis and disinformation in these spaces? I feel like obviously you can look into any community and there's a lot of mis and disinformation there, but I feel like it especially permeates in our community. So why is that, Miss Researcher?
So I'm going to push back on that question a little bit,
Okay,
my dear friend. Onyx impact, we have seen absolutely no data back up claims that Black people are more susceptible to this.
Okay.
In many ways, Black people have higher levels of resiliency because we have an overall higher level of skepticism, especially as it relates to things like what the government is doing. And so that's why it may be harder for, let's say, election narratives to be effective. But at the end of the day, we know that if disinformation is targeted at a community and amplified, it's going to be effective. And so that's the truth for Black communities as well. If it's targeted and amplified, it will be effective.
Yeah.
And so that's what we actually see going on. And I will say that, again, there's so much that the tech companies are responsible for. We're not talking about, they're not having a conversation about, that really needs to be exposed.
Yeah.
So here's the truth. Black folks, we use these platforms a lot. 77% of Black adults are using social media, right?
Yeah.
While Black folks only account for 2.6% of all businesses, they account for 26% of online businesses, right?
Wow.
We're over-indexed on these platforms. At the same time, data research shows that Black users are by far the most targeted. What do I mean by that? 54% of Black respondents reported experience online harassment relative to 17% of white respondents. 54% relative to 17%, right? Black youth are 5 times more likely than their white peers to be cyberbullied for their race. Again, Black youth 5 times more likely
than their counterparts to be, and their white peers to be cyberbullied because of their race, right? Black Instagram users were 50% more likely than their white peers to have their accounts automatically disabled falsely, right? For these content moderation issues that we talked about. Facebook, Instagram, X, they were removing Black content at 60% of the rate of white, 60% times more than their white counterparts, right? I'm not done. You think I'm done? I'm not done.
No. I mean, by the way, when the Onyx Impact Instagram was first launched, it was like immediately suspended. Like immediately. We hadn't posted a single thread of content yet, and it was already suspended. We had to fight to get it back. Shout out to Dominic for doing that. But
shout out to Dominic for doing that. Look, ProPublica did a study where they set up ads. They were able to set up how to buy housing, realty ads, right? That explicitly excluded Black users. It took them 15 minutes to set this up with no restrictions, right? We know that go ahead.
Again, like how? Like if you have the details, but like how does something like that happen? Like how is it just the way that you structure an ad, or like how can you exclude Black people from that?
Supreme Court Justice Ketanji Brown Jackson, one study was able to find Facebook generated about $13,000 in revenue for itself on extraordinarily racist ads being deployed ahead of her confirmation.
Wow.
That was money that they raked in.
Wow.
It is we can go on and on and on and on about how, half of the white supremacist group that are on Facebook were self-generated.
Yeah. Aisha, let's talk about Aisha. What do people use Aisha for?
People use Aisha for all sorts of things. We created Aisha as part of this digital green book that you can find right at digitalgreenbook.org, and really as a tool to help folks, help Black folks fact check information. But folks are using Aisha to do all sorts of things. They're asking all sorts of questions and talking to her on a day-to-day basis. My mom talks to Aisha every day, which probably means that I should call her more. But she enjoys it, right? Which is awesome.
I just looked up a oxtail recipe the other day.
Of course you did.
And
I mean, look, I use Aisha all the time to come up with new puns. As a matter of fact.
Oh.
Hey, no,
right.
no.
So this has been episode 2 of. Okay, all right. And she got the glasses. Put the glasses on, Nina.
So Onyx Impact is an organization that is fighting disinformation, and because that's our mission, we have to make sure that we have the right type of insurance, and for us that means making sure that we have liability insurance, that we have liability insurance. Liability insurance. It's because it's because of the lie, Michael. So it's because disinformation it's lies with the intent to lie, and so we need liability insurance.
I get it.
The best part of a joke, Michael, is being able to explain the joke.
I've never seen Chappelle or Rock or Seinfeld explain a joke. It's kind of just do it.
Look, artists are not all the same.
Copy. I understand. Yeah, thank you for that. No, thank you for that. Thank you. I know you worked really, really long on that one, and we appreciate all your efforts.
Of course,
we appreciate that. Stick to just fighting disinformation. So speaking of Aisha, I want to talk to you more about Aisha, how we can use it to fight. Well, first fight your bad jokes, but then also learn how to fight this disinformation and misinformation. But also, how do we fight back against big tech, right? I mean, we're talking about big tech, and we're talking about how it's, Black folks are being targeted, Black folks are being disproportionately, shadow banned, and all these things. But how do we use a tool like Aisha, which, like I said, by the way, is a genius tool, right? I mean, I think it's literally genius that, you know, Black folks are disrupting this space right now and with AI and using it in this kind of way. I think it's just, you know, it's the best thing right now because AI is here. It's not coming. It's not, you know, one day on the horizon. It's here. And the fact that you've built this tool that can help us fight this real problem that we have, you know, I really have to take my hat off to you. I won't take my hat off because I don't like my line, but that is, I mean, we keep it real here on Kicks and Clickbait, y'all. But yeah, talk to us about how we use Aisha to fight this misinformation.
Absolutely, you can use Aisha to, if you have questions about what's happening, you know, currently in the world. How are these absurd Medicaid cuts going to impact, you know, Black communities? Feel free to ask Aisha. Is this story about Trump or Elon true? Feel free to ask Aisha. If you want to know if there's any other person besides Asosa Osa who's so good at puns, you know, she probably won't answer that particular question, but we can try. But most importantly is to not just use Aisha, but to tell your friends and family that to use Aisha as well, because the more folks that are engaging, more folks from our community that are engaging with Aisha, the better that she's going to become. You know, we're very clear in our terms of service that we don't, you know, take anyone's personal information. We want to be as transparent as possible. And so while she won't take any of your personal information, right? Yeah. If you ask a question and she answers it and you're like, that's a great answer, she's gonna what she will do is remember that answer is probably better for the next time, which is awesome.
Well, does she take your jokes? Yours in particular, because if she stores your jokes, then I don't know if I want to use it. Just being honest. I'm just being really honest. Like,
we're not there. We're not there yet. She doesn't. Okay. I think, you know, generative AI can't do everything. They can't necessarily understand how, like, a genius pun.
Yeah. Genius. Okay. No. God damn it. Dim the lights.
How come melons always have weddings? Because they can't elope.
I wish you could see Nina's face off camera. And like,
it's a melon. And they can't elope.
What do you call a bad pun teller? A Sosa Osa. So anyway, what we want to do, no, I'm kidding. We love you. What we want to do is, well, no, before I jump to the other part, I want to, you know, ask how does, you talked a little bit just now about how it doesn't store your information, but how, well, you answered that. Never mind. Don't answer that.
Sorry, I did answer two questions.
You did. No, you did. So no, you're just ahead of the game. You're ahead of me. We said something really good in the last part that I want to remember. It was about how it stores information. We don't have to go into the whole AI, like, it's free thing. Well, do you want to talk about, like, it being free and maybe one day having the tier?
No, I don't. Nina, yep, absolutely. That's what we're doing next.
Mm-hmm.
Fine.
There's no limit.
Right.
Ooh, why did you tell me this?
Continues to evolve. I'm really excited about that. You can just leave it vague. Right?
Say all the stuff you got. Obvious answers just right there sitting. Also, a question: could we like make cartoon versions of us?
Yeah. What?
And then have them do the rest of the pod?
The rest of the pod?
Like, you know, we've got this whole section that's just voice.
Yeah.
And we could just do cartoon
and
versions.
use it as like social media content. Yeah, you can totally do that. Yeah. I thought you meant the rest of this pod. Because we're finishing this. We're wrapping this up.
No. I know we're doing, but I'm just saying we've got that.
No, it's totally. Yeah, totally. Yeah, it'll definitely be fun. Yeah.
Look, AI, why can't?
Yeah. I'll just get.
Could you just double check with me whatever the cartoon version of me is?
Absolutely.
So and another Facebook study showed that they actually Meta made $13,000 off of racist ads spread about Supreme Court Justice Ketanji Brown Jackson. Supreme Court Justice Ketanji Brown Jackson, they were making money off of blatantly racist ads about her.
Let's talk about the impact on mental health and how this stuff impacts us. We think about this stuff from how it impacts youth, right? Which is really important. Suicide rates and the mental health rates, but like at large, are you seeing any data of how this mis and disinformation is affecting Black people's mental health overall?
Yeah, absolutely. There's been data that continues to show for a while that Black women are by far the group that gets the most hate online. I think there are plenty of studies that show that the disproportionate impact on mental health of both of Black adults, of Black teens, of Black children. There was a recent study in Indiana that showed that 1 in 7 Black teens that die by suicide. Showed that a significant number of those teens had really, really harmful racist cyberbullying episodes that had led up to that. And so that is, when we're talking about what harm is, we're talking about how these platforms are impacting our youth, our kids, our health, our in many ways our wealth. Look at how many of these platforms are taking away our content, our image, our likeness, right? That need to be having these conversations, exposing the truth about what is happening to our community from these platforms, and we need to be fighting back and demanding more.
Yeah, and these are not subjects that you hear people in traditional, I guess I'll say, media talk about, right? Which is why it's important to amplify Black news and Black newspapers.
Say that one more time.
It's important to amplify Black news and Black newspapers because you don't hear about these things in traditional news media, right? I mean, this is not things that are on the radar.
Exactly, and that's why we are so dedicated at Onyx Impact. We do so much around information integrity, around better, healthier news and information ecosystems, and we are constantly talking about the need to follow more Black news, both on social media, to subscribe to more Black news. Do not be out here in these streets subscribing to the New York Times and you're not subscribed to your local Black newspaper, which for you is
the LA Sentinel.
Yes.
LA Sentinel. Yeah, shout out Los Angeles, man. It's one of the oldest Black African-American owned newspapers in the country.
That's right. Whether it's the LA Sentinel, Dallas Weekly, Chicago Informer, Atlanta Voice, Capital Beat, there's so many wonderful Black news options that are telling our stories how they should be told, keeping us abreast of what is happening, of these types of harms. So that's also something that we're going to be using Aisha for, is to help folks be able to find, subscribe, follow local Black news. 20 million people follow Black news. If you're not one of them,
right? And if you're following the Shade Room listen, I love the Shade Room. I'd be on it. But it's important also. We be on it. Shout out to I was literally on it as a guest a few months ago.
In the comment sections, I'm not that cool.
Well, I know somebody. I can hook you up with it's cool. All right. But no, I mean, we really have to be as diligent and serious about consuming things that really affect us. It's not just about politics. It's about, like you said, health, education. Yes. That's why it's important to subscribe to your local news to know what's actually going on in your neighborhood. So we're all for that, and
also shout out Black Press USA for taking all of that local content and making sure that people have access to it. And in one location, the folks at Black Press USA are also just doing incredible, amazing work each and every day. Make sure you guys are liking and subscribing to them as well.
Absolutely. We did a pretty deep dive on a serious topic, right? Talking about big tech and Black spaces, but I like to say that joy is one of the best forms of resistance, You know, and you know, we talked about your kicks when you on the opening of the show.
Yes.
But what you got on? You got on these Virgils.
Yes. So right now, let's see. I've got on these. I've got on the Jordan 2s, Virgil Abloh, Off-White collab, part of the Virgil line. I love these shoes. I think that the Jordan 2s don't get enough love. I love the front of them. I think it's a really great shoe to match with a more dressy, classy style, right? I also always try to rep black designers. There's what's a better black designer than the
Virgil,
the late, the visionary, Virgil Abloh. So this is you know, something that's near and dear to my heart. Hence the name of the show. But also, you know, I can't wait till the Sesames comes out later this year.
Absolutely, that's the drop you're waiting on.
That is the drop I'm waiting on.
I love it. Yes. I love it. But I mean, I said it earlier, but like I said, I think you're the Virgil of the space that you're in terms of, you know, fighting black disinformation. No, you are. You're bringing a creative, strategic lens to it, and you're disrupting in the way that Virgil disrupted fashion. And I love it. I just love to see we're, you know, that I feel like we're gonna be okay. I feel like, you know, people were feeling a, you know, type of way after November and everything, but I think this gives us hope, and definitely appreciate you and Onyx for everything that you're doing.
We need more disruptors, definitely.
Absolutely. So, you know, I love to do this segment where we did it last week. We did it last episode. We got to do it again. You know, our favorite. Are
you going to make me do this every week?
I'm going to make you every week. I think we got to do it. We got to show that we, you know, like, you can have fun, right? We can have fun.
Yes.
I'm also very.
If nothing else, they say, so you're so fun.
No, you know, people don't know. I see that. I see it. Now, we're going to hide the glasses because we don't want to go back into another pun. But no, I'm with you. But Sosa, your favorite conspiracy / fake news. I'll start off. Can I just start off? Y'all know that there was a movie that Sinbad played in that he was a genie, right? Called Shazam.
100%.
Like this happened, right? Like apparently there's like haters and, you know, people out there, conspiracy theorists who say that this did not exist, that Sinbad never played a genie, that it was actually Shaq who played Kazam, who was like a hip hop genie who came out of a fake news.
You're losing me. What? Huh?
Yeah. So Sinbad apparently, according to the, you know, the fake news, never played a genie. He never played Shazam. That's what they're saying.
Okay. Hold on, let me check.
This is something that's been heavy on my mind for a long time.
What do you mean Sinbad never played a genie?
Sinbad never played a genie. Well, that's what they're saying. I know he did because I saw the tape. I saw the tape when I was a kid. I swear. He was on the cover like this, and he did. This is true. He did. But apparently this never happened, and we're all having, when you Google it, it says that we're all having like mass
delusion.
Mass delusion.
Are you kidding me? Sinbad never played a genie. That just never happened.
No, it happened. What are you talking about? That definitely happened.
Okay, I guess I'm adhering to the conspiracy as well, because apparently, what?
I seen the movie. I swear I seen the movie.
I have seen a movie where I guess I have not. I don't. So here's my conspiracy. My conspiracy, and I'm happy that Nina's left the room for this.
Oh Lord.
Is that, as we all know, as an empirical fact.
I'm leaving.
Okay. Empirical fact that Nigerians make the best jollof rice. And, you know, however, there is a conspiracy amongst Ghanaians to try to undermine this empirical fact that Nigerians make the best jollof rice, because of course they do. And so, you know, I just want to expose this Ghanaian conspiracy to try to undermine. And, you know, and Nina's very upset over there. Nina, should we just ask Aisha to settle this once and for all?
I think that's biased. I gotta say, Nina, and I love my Ghanaian folks. I love Ghanaian food, all that. But I have a lot of Nigerian friends. Shout out to all my Niger friends out there. And I gotta say, Y'all get down when it comes to jollof. I'm just saying.
All right, let me just.
I'm not trying to listen.
I'm
I'm just
asking-
saying.
I'm asking Aisha right now. Is Nigerian jollof, wow,
They will throw the entire
rice
garden in
better
jollof and
I
than
you talking to
Ghanaian?
a guy who seasons his chicken with everything that's in the shelf. So I like it. I like it.
Okay, so I'm asking Aisha, is Nigerian jollof rice better than Ghanaian jollof rice? Because it is.
Biased.
That's not a question.
It is a question.
No, it's a question. It's not a question. It's
It's very biased.
very biased.
Aisha's response, you know this debate runs deep. Okay, Aisha. Nigerian and Ghanaian jollof rice both have passionate defenders, and each version brings its own flavor, spice, and tradition. Nigerian jollof is known for its bold, smoky, pepper-forward taste, while Ghanaian jollof is celebrated for its rich tomato base and salt season. At the end of the
Yeah, I
day,
love
it's
how you
about
lie.
pride, culture, and who's cooking. Nigerians will tell you theirs is best, just like you did. Man, Aisha, I was doing that. Man, Ghanaians will say the same. The real answer, both are a celebration of West African excellence, and the debate itself is part of the culture. But since you said it with your chest, Nigerian jollof stands
With
tall.
your chest. Listen, I'm gonna keep it real with y'all. I like jollof rice, but I don't know if y'all really messing with jambalaya. I don't know if it's even on the same thing, but that's what we got. That's all we got. So we'll close it out. Asosa, shout out all your social media and Onyx Impact and all that good stuff.
Absolutely. You can find Onyx Impact across social media platforms at the Onyx Impact. You can find me at ESOSA_OSA, but I would prefer that you follow Onyx Impact.
I mean, you give a lot of good hot takes though on like the game and you know shoes
not,
and
not the game, more so the NBA, and more so just hot takes on the NBA is my favorite hobby. So
yeah, I love it.